Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to Miss. So first of all, let me introduce myself first. So my name is Nurul Hasidah binti Atim, and here is my ID number, which is 21020200962. My course is BHCM from MSUC Sabah. My title that I've chosen, which is Maleficent 2014. So here is the introduction. The film is released new concept art pieces for Maleficent, which the live-action reimagining of Walt Disney 1959 animated film Sleeping Beauty. Maleficent premiered at the El Capitan Theatre in Hollywood on May 28, 2014 and was released in the United Kingdom that same day. This film was released in the Disney Digital 3D and IMAX 3D formats, as well as in conventional theater. Other than that, the concept of Maleficent movie was a live-action retelling of Walt Disney 1959 and portrays the story from the perspective of the eponymous antagonist, depicting her conflict relationship with the king and princess of the corrupt kingdom. Okay, so I will continue with the synopsis of the movie. So, Maleficent meets and falls in love with a human prison boy, which is named of Stephen. On Maleficent's 16th birthday, he gives her what he calls a true love kisses. As they grow older, Stephen's love is overshadowed by his ambition to be king, and Maleficent becomes protector of the Moors. When King Henry tries to conquer the Moors, Maleficent mortally wounds him, forcing his retreat. As he lies dying, he declares that whoever kills Maleficent will be named his successor and marry his daughter. Stephen calls on Maleficent in the Moors, and he drugs her, but cannot bring himself to kill her. Instead, he amputates her wings, presents them to Henry as a proof of Maleficent's death, and is named the new king. The new king. While still processing the betrayal, Maleficent turns Diavel, a trap raven, into a human, threatening away his captors. He promises to serve her and brings her news of the humans, infuriated when she learns why her wings were taken, and the Maleficent and the Moors she controls become dark and sinister. And next, as Maleficent and Aurora attempts to leave, Stephen and his guards ambush them. Maleficent transforms Devil into dragon to help her and Aurora, but both are subdued. Meanwhile, Aurora finds Maleficent's cane, cage, wings and releases them. They fly to Maleficent and reattach themselves, but Stephen continues fighting. Maleficent carries him to the top of the highest tower. Unwilling to kill him, she announces the fight is over and tries to leave him there. He tackles her from behind, dragging them both off the tower. Maleficent opens her wings to save herself, causing Stephen to lose hold and fall to his death. With King Stephen gone, Maleficent returns to Mars to its former glory and gives away her position to Aurora, who is crowned Queen of the Moors. Uniting the two kingdoms, Philip also comes to visit them. So that's only for the synopsis. Let's continue to the next one, the next part. Alright, so here is the issue of problems that reveal in the movie. The first one is conflict between Maleficent and King Henry, which is Maleficent and King Henry is at front gate of the Moors, and King Henry decide to conquer Moors, but on the other hand, Maleficent wants to live in peace because of incompatible goals between them, and the war cannot be avoided. Next conflict is the conflict between Maleficent and King Henry the incompatible goals, which is King Henry is the king of human kingdom that's ruled by a power-hungry king and tries to conquer Mars while Maleficent wants to live in a peace. When King Stephen tries to conquer Mars, he wandered on the battle and almost died because of Maleficent. And Stephen promised whoever can kill Maleficent will be chosen to be his successor and will marry his only daughter. And the next is internal conflict, which is it happened between one idea and another idea, or the conflict of own mind. An example, Maleficent begins to admit that her hatred for Stephen does not extend to Aurora. When Aurora was baby, Maleficent felt she a beverage, but when Aurora being a teen, she can see that Aurora is a good, innocent person undeserving of such a harsh fate. So I will continue with the theory that related to the organizational behavior. The first one of theory is theory of personality, which is psychologist Carl Jung divided all personalities into introvert and extrovert based on sociability and interpersonal relationship orientation. An introvert is tend to recharge by spending time alone. They lose energy from being around people for long periods of time, and particularly large crowds. An example, Maleficent is choose to live in a peace far from society with her bodyguard that's the bird only, which name Diavel. Maleficent is chosen the peace place is because don't want to involve of any of people at city face. Extrovert also can be defined as a gain energy from other people. Extroverts actually find the energy is safe when they are recharged by being social. Extrovert also can be seized when someone is brave and sociable. An example, Stephen is brave to meet Aurora when she is passed out that hit by magic. Two kisses is called true love kiss. Next theory is theory MC Cleland's, which is the theory tell about the need for achievement, need for power, and need for affiliation. For the need for achievement, that is the desire to do better, solve problem or master complex tasks. An example, Maleficent is willing to do anything to conquer the Moors and to be queen on that kingdom. Maleficent power is so powerful and nobody can be win if have a fight with her even though with the army training. In addition, need for power is the desire to control others and influence their behavior. An example, by existing Aurora, Maleficent is more to be a good heart even though at first Maleficent is had so much towards Aurora. But when Aurora being teenagers, Maleficent is the one of that protect Aurora from any dangerous that happen to him. Aurora behavior is super good woman and make Maleficent bad attitude is gone. Next is need for affiliation, which is desire for friendly and warm relations with others, who are high in need for affiliation will be suitable in roles responsible to mediate conflicts or to create strong long-term relationship. An example, Maleficent relationship with Aurora being most strong after Maleficent look of Aurora from child until teenagers. Maleficent have feelings like is a mother towards Aurora and Maleficent is so protective towards Aurora. She willing to do anything to protect Aurora. Next theory is from expectancy theory, which is this theory is measure the person confidence in being able to get the result expected. It is purely a subjective measure of an individual belief in themselves. An example, the fairy is hard worker on finding food to stay alive, even though in difficult situation. In addition, balance reward also measure the value a person attach to a given reward. This can be extrinsic money, term of or intrinsic sense of achievement. An example, winning on the Maleficent fighting between the enemy at the kingdom and she become a queen also married to the Aurora. The next theory is goal setting theory, which is process of the setting goals with feedback for motivation and high performance. The theory that specific and difficult goals with feedback lead to the higher performance. The factors that influencing the goal's performance relationship is goal commitment, adequate self-efficacy, task characteristic, and national culture. Self-efficacy is the individual belief that he or she is capable of performing a task. An example, the birds or namely Diablo as the bodyguard that always together with him, following and giving an information to Maleficent. Diablo was very respectful Maleficent and do the task that Maleficent orders as good performing and always success to do the task carefully. So I move to the suggestion to rectify the issues. The first one of resolution is resolution conflict between Maleficent and King Henry is competition, which is competition is referred to instance where each individual in a conflict decides they wish to win, to get what they want. Conflict which is based on difference of opinion or differing information can be best worked out by argumentation. Dapat. In this conflict, relationship is enhanced by good discussion and useful answer, but they are damaged when people lose sight of the issue and only want to win. The next solution is through resolution to the internal conflict, which is the resolution in this conflict is creative integration in terms to break the conflict context by demonstrating that the way a conflict is being perceived is not the only possible way to see it. One has the context rather than to examine it within the present. One actually subverts the conflict discussion. An example, Maleficent begins to admit that her hatred for Stephen does not extend to Aurora. When Aurora was a baby, Maleficent dominantly plays an important role and determines the flow of the role story in the movie. In addition, the source of internal conflict was incompatible goals between Maleficent and Stephen and extend to the conflict to didn't know anything. In other hand, Maleficent is willing to do anything to do for revenge, but Maleficent have no power on earth that can change it, except if Aurora can find her true love kiss. The last solution is real solution external conflict, which is Maleficent faced three external conflict, which is there are conflict between herself and King Henry, herself between Aurora, and conflict between herself and Stephen. The conflict Maleficent and Aurora was limited resource. This was interpersonal conflict, and from the situation of conflict, this was an approach avoidance conflict because in managing her conflict with Aurora, she used avoidance strategy. She did not deal with this conflict. She wanted to stay with Maleficent, but Aurora was already disappointed with Maleficent of the curse and left Maleficent and back to the human kingdom. The conflict between Maleficent and Stephen was incompatible goals also. This conflict is stopped when Stephen became a king. King Henry lost in a battle with Maleficent, will be chosen to be his successor and the war cannot be avoided. So in conclusion, some significant points in the analysis of the movie Maleficent can be summarized as the conclusion in this last chapter as follows, which based on the role of main character, it is determined that Maleficent is the main character in this movie. From the beginning into the end, Maleficent dominantly plays an important role and determines the flow of the story in the movie. That's all from me. Thank you.